Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you for
You're
having
awesome.
me.
I have had you in my life since Necker Island in 2015.
Correct.
You're amazing, and I have had such a joy watching you go on these crazy entrepreneurial adventures and inventing things and building technology and watching you come up with what we all know now is the dark dollar, which I'm so excited to see. And I want to hear a little bit more about that because I have some questions for you. There's a lot going on in the world, and I want to know what the heck I can do to help. So tell me a little bit about the dark dollar and how that is going to be your force for good in the world.
Sure. The Dark Dollar is really, it's an empowering docuseries that starts off examining my own individual family life and then takes that and then turns it into a national examination of the intersection between race and wealth in America. Spoiler alert, it's about money.
It's about money.
It's about money.
It's not about race.
No, it's about money.
Okay. Well, tell me more about that.
Well, the intersection of race and wealth in America. People talk about racial issues, but they don't talk about the financial issues. They don't talk about it with the right financial lens. And I'm going to bring that perspective to the world because it's a very empowering perspective. Nobody asks your skin color when you make a trade. Nobody asks your skin color when you're going to make an investment. Everybody in this country has an ability to level up and put themselves in a position way better than they have now. I am not saying, I'm going to go on the record, I am not saying that racism doesn't exist.
Right.
But I am saying that I believe it is not even close to Black America's biggest problem. The biggest problem is thinking about Black America as a monolith. We are not a monolith.
Okay.
So you take each individual person's situation, right? Take each individual person's situation, and if they ask powerful questions, they'll get powerful answers. What can I do to improve my results? I've never asked that question of someone, and the answer would be nothing.
Right.
Never.
Right.
In 20 years of asking that question, I've never met one person that when you ask, what can I do to improve my results? What can I do to improve my outcome? I've never had somebody say, nothing.
So I'm going to ask some really raw questions here.
Let's go.
I want to know. I called you when all of this just started flaring up. There's a lot of really sensitive things going on in Black America, white America. I mean, it's just, and I was out of the country, so I came back and I'm like, I don't know what to do because I can't stand racism. I think it's the stupidest crap. Nobody picked their freaking color. So it doesn't make any sense. Anybody who's racist could have woken up as that color, been born as that color. How could you hate somebody for something they didn't pick? Okay, that's different than a choice. I cannot like somebody's habits, but I can't not like you based on color. It's ridiculous to me. I can't comprehend it. So anyway, anything I can do to help end racism, I want to do. And I want to know from you, what do you think about the situation going on, the approach, and how can we be doing it better? How could somebody like me help end racism in a good way? It's just a confusing time. What do we do?
Are you racist?
No?
Okay, well then you're doing your part.
Okay.
Jason Riley has a book called Please Stop Helping Us. And it's really fascinating because it breaks down the point at which help actually starts to hurt. So some of the social programs and some of these things, here's what it does. Whenever you have something that creates childlike dependency, not good. I've never seen an adult win when they have a situation where they are dependent on another person, right? To save them, to support them, to put them in a better situation in their life. So I am not supportive of any program or action that is looking to convince me that I'm less than. Because I'm not.
But a lot of people play the I didn't get the same opportunity card. And this is me speaking from being a woman in construction. And I've been in a lot of different women's groups, and I've heard people say, well, we've got to destroy them to rise. And
didn't get the same opportunity. They're right.
Right. Well, and I have experienced, and I never talk about it, I have experienced some pretty rough things. When I'm 21 and a girl in construction, looking back, I'm like, I don't know why they believed in me anyway. I had an amazing heart, amazing drive. I had zero education, and I had a hard time getting financing, for example, in the beginning of my career. And I had to work 10 times harder. But I never played the victim card. I never, talked about it. I didn't want it to be a thing. I don't freaking want a handout. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want to be great because I'm great, not because I'm a woman. I actually don't even like winning a women awards because I don't want the preface like, oh, she made it just because she's a woman. Now we've, lowered it down so she can play in the game too. I don't freaking like that crap. I want to be great because I'm great. So I want to hear your thoughts based on what you just said. That's so good. It's stop helping us. I haven't heard many people with that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, look, inequality is everywhere, right? So let's talk about a bunch of different things. So let's just say that, I think this is a true stat actually, less than 1% of the bomb squad is made up of women. Have you ever seen a march that's horribly lopsided, right? 99 point something percent of the bomb squad is men and less than 1% is women. I think we should do everything that we can to make sure that we get more women into the bomb squad. Do I sound credible right now? Like,
Yeah.
do I sound like that is that a good crusade for me to push for more women in the bomb squad?
I mean, it sounds fair if it's that lopsided, right?
Okay. So what are some possible outcomes besides sexism that could explain why there's only less than 1% women in the bomb squad?
Well, some people could say they're not given the same opportunity and they don't believe that women can actually hold it together and they're blaming it on their periods and, whatever.
I'm not sure what periods have to do with bomb squads, but let's...
Can't emotionally handle it.
Oh, sure. I can't emotionally handle it. I don't want to blow myself up. So you know what they do? They put a flyer in the men's locker room and the women's locker room. And the crazy individuals that rank on the psychopathy scale, because that's like proven that you have to be a certain level of a little bit of a psychopath to be willing. And hey, I'm all for it because we need people in the bomb squad. It ain't me. So it just so happens that those over-index with males. Nursing over-indexes with females. Should we push for more male nurses? Basketball and football. More blacks play basketball and football in the NFL and the NBA than whites. Do we need to have a program to even those things out? These things are complicated. You can't just put it in a box and say, this is this group, this group, that. The whole group thing is getting us in trouble. We need to understand specifics and we need to have context in this thing. Without context, we're just making these generalities and we're going to be wrong.
Right.
Sometimes you need those generalities though. Mm-hmm. And it's not always racism. It's being overused. The problem with it being overused is it starts to overshadow the real cases of racism. It's like the boy who cried wolf. You do it so much that they don't want to hear it. And then when it's really the wolf, people are desensitized to the wolf, the crying of the wolf. They're desensitized to it. And the real wolf comes and they come and do their damage. And as a society, we're worse off. So let's not be so quick to cry wolf, because if we do, we're going to suffer the consequences. We as a society, not black people, not white people, everybody. That's with anything.
When people are being oversensitive and saying, I didn't get the opportunity because I'm a woman. I didn't get that opportunity because I'm Hispanic. I didn't get that opportunity because I'm short. I'm too young, too old, too whatever. I heard you say earlier, look at the reality. Why did you not get that opportunity? I want you to say that again. I loved what we were talking about earlier today.
This is what I talked about during my TED Talk.
Yeah.
I said this very specifically because I want people to understand there's 4 steps to overcome this victim mentality, right? The first step is to remove race or sex or whatever the immutable trait that you're talking about. Remove that from the equation.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that it's not part of the equation. Remove it from the equation for you. This is for your benefit, right? So this is to empower you. So remove that, set that aside, and replace that immutable trait with data. You're looking for other plausible explanations for the outcome, for the discrepancy, for the thing that happened. You didn't get the job, you get the loan, somebody treated you, whatever it is. you're looking for other plausible explanations. Keep adding data until it can be explained or possibly explained without your race or without your sex. Then ask yourself a very powerful question. What can I do to improve my results? And then step 4, take action on what you discovered. That's the key. That's the thing. You do that, you're better off, guaranteed.
So give me an example. Walk me through that whole process with an example that would be in today's issues list.
Sure. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a black man.
What?
Yeah, it's a thing. So, all right. So I'm a black man and I want a business loan. So I go to the bank and I apply for a business loan. I get denied. White dude, he's the banker. He didn't really smile at me. We didn't really build good rapport. He didn't look like he was even happy I was in the bank. So I was already like, come on, who's this guy? So he denies me. He takes my stuff. He denies me the loan. And then I say, he denied me the loan because I'm black. And had I been a white man, I would have got the loan. Let's pause. We don't have enough data to make that claim. It's a lazy and a dangerous argument. Yes, it might be true. And guess what? If it is true, with today's laws in place, you have a case. But you'll never get there unless you do the steps. So let's walk through the steps. This example, I didn't get the loan because I was black. So if I remove race, step 1 is to remove race. So I didn't get the loan because I was black. I didn't get the loan because I was black. We're taking that away. So now we're left with, I didn't get the loan because. Step 2, add data. Add data. Keep adding data until you can possibly explain it without the color of your skin. I didn't get the loan because my credit score isn't in the top echelon. It's only whatever it is. I didn't get the loan because my business history is only a year and a half and 3 years is the gold standard. I didn't get the loan because my sales numbers had a little bit of a dip and I really couldn't explain it. I didn't get the loan because my business description is in a risky category. I didn't get the loan because, all of these different things like that. Things that anything else except for race, anything else. I didn't get the loan because the loan officer didn't put my information in correctly. I didn't get the loan because my loan officer waited too long to submit it and it actually was just a clerical thing. It kicked it out and I just need to resubmit. I mean, there's all of these plausible things. So once you have that list, you have things you can take action on. So then you go to step 3. What can I do to improve my results? Well, I could get my credit score up. I can make sure I get some more business history. I can make sure my sales or my books are all in order and get the books in line. I can make sure all of these things. I can go over the procedure, fully understand the procedure from the underwriter's perspective, from the banker's perspective in detail, request that information so that I know exactly what they go through on their side to make sure and see what these business loans are all about. So I can do all of these things to improve my results. None of those have anything to do with race. Let's just say that he is racist. It'll be way more clear, crystal clear, when I have a complete case. Let's compare sentences. Sentence number 1. I applied for a bank loan. I deserved that bank loan, and I didn't get it because I'm black. And if I was white, I would have got it. Compare that to sentence number 2. I have an 800 credit score. I've got 4 years of business history that is in the top 5% of comparable businesses in this area. My comps are all on par. My books are impeccable. My profit and loss reports, everything is impeccable. My books are exquisitely kept. All of that is in place and in order. I submitted on this period of time. The timetable and everything like that is all good. And this bank typically accepts loans within this acceptable range. And I'm on the upper end of that acceptable range. But I was denied the loan. I want to know why. Now, which one is a more powerful thing to work from? Like, what can you work from the first one? There's so many reasons why they can say, oh no, time out, that's not the thing. But if I come and bring that case, somebody's got to answer that now. Somebody's got to answer that now. Somebody's going to say, what procedure, what law, what protocol? Tell me the actual tangible thing that made it so I didn't get denied, I didn't get accepted in this loan. Like, tell me.
The very essence of the questions you're asking and the approach is empowering versus defeatist. And I didn't because of something I can't control gives them all the power, which is so interesting. And this other approach says there's always a way. I may not know what I missed, but I want to learn so that I can find a way to do it next time and or go to someone else once I fix the thing. But to say I can't change this thing, so forever I'm doomed, I think is unacceptable, because we've seen too many people, specifically in America, overcome what seem insurmountable odds of all colors, of all ages, of all backgrounds. Like, this is freaking America.
That's right.
You can find a way if you have that approach. I love the way you said that.
Here's what happens when you do that.
Yeah.
And here's what I think is one of the big disconnects when it comes to successful people that'll still argue and not really realize that they're doing it, but argue for the limitations of others that share the same traits as them.
Wait a minute.
Let's break this down.
For others?
Yes, for others.
Or for themselves?
No, for others.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Okay, somebody who's rich and famous saying blacks are underprivileged and this and that. I'm like, well, how'd you make it out? Like, how'd you do it? And so is every black person who makes it in America a superhero? I mean, that's good for my ego, but I don't quite believe that. Here's what happens. In that scenario, that bank scenario, sentence number 1 is a closing statement. It's done. You said it. I didn't get the loan because I'm black. If you believe that, why would you do anything else? Why would you work on your credit? Why would you work on your business practices? Why would you work on your books? Why would you even apply to another bank? Why would you do any of those things? But if you have the second version, that is not a limiting statement. It's a powerful question. I want to know why. So then you figure out, how can I get this loan? Well, again, if the banker is racist, let's just say the banker is racist. If you do this, the second option that I'm proposing you do, you take the power from that racist banker and give it back to yourself, because guess what? There is a bank in America that's going to give you a loan with great terms, with a smile on their face. They exist. So if that banker is that, and guess what happens? Over time, if everybody starts doing that, that banker will probably lose their job, because somebody up top is going to say, looking at the numbers, you're not a very good banker, because you're letting these great credit scores, this good green is the color that the banks are caring about here, right? Let's not talk about previous laws. There was some jacked up laws in the past, but those are done now. So somebody up high in the bank is going to say, you're a horrible banker. We're going to fire you. Look at the numbers. You let this guy go. You let this borrower go. You let this one. And they went to the bank across the street. Well, guess what? Now our numbers are down because you didn't do your job. Because of their discrimination, there's a cost. There is a price in the marketplace for discrimination. Let it play out. You don't want my loan? Guess what? I don't want to give you my loan. I'm going to step my game up, do what I've got to do, and I will get my loan where I can get one.
Ends up helping everybody else too. And it's not about attacking that guy, but asking the right questions and revealing the heart in the end. If it was a heart issue, if it was a racism issue, then he can no longer keep doing that to all the other worthy applicants that may not have had the mental fortitude to keep going the way that you did. So your ripple effect of asking more questions and finding a way to continue to get it done and improve yourself, man, I love that.
I'll tell you what happened. So I was early in the game, entrepreneur. I was working hard, doing my thing, trying to raise money just like entrepreneurs do. And I was pitching investors and doing my thing, and I was buying into the narrative. I had read that stat that said less than 3% of venture capital goes to people who look like me and that type of thing, or 1%, whatever. And I bought in. I'm like, see? So again, there's a stat.
Yeah.
True and misleading. So I took that hook, line, and sinker. I was feeling sorry for myself. I was frustrated. I had a great business idea and I wanted to make it happen, and I couldn't get the funding. At the time, I couldn't get the funding. So I met with an investor once, and I was doing my pitch, and we started talking, and he asked me, how's fundraising going? And this time I chose to say something to the effect of, as you may know, it's exceedingly difficult for somebody who looks like me to get the funding that we need to get our business off the ground. So it's been a challenge, but with your support, it'll go a long way. And I'm thinking, yeah, I threw it in there, I played the race card. I attributed my outcomes. I explained those solely based on the color of my skin.
Hmm.
And what he said back to me changed my perspective. He said, John, I want you to know that I loved your presentation, but I will not invest in your company. And I was just like, oh, what happened? He said, I will not invest in your company. All of the different factors that go into raising money and funding, and you pick the one thing you can't control. You know that the person that I met before you, I was their 400th pitch. Their 400th pitch. I'm convinced that they're going to do whatever it takes to get their business off the ground. You, not so sure.
Oh, I got chills.
Ouch. My ego was like, dude, right? It was. I was embarrassed. I didn't get the money. I didn't get the funding. I had to have that real moment with myself and sat with that big time. And I said, let's be real. I had pitched 30 at the time. 30. So when you look at the stat.
400.
At 400. They pitched 400. I pitched 30.
Right.
So here I am playing the race card when I need to play the pitch more investors card.
Right.
I need to bolster up my team.
Right.
Get some revenue.
Right.
Again, all the other plausible explanations, let me go do those. And then I can make this statement and say, hey, I've got revenues that rival this. I've got this. I've got this. I've got this. How can I get funding with this valuation? Mm-hmm. Powerful question. Let's go find those answers.
Right.
Instead of, I know you're not going to do me dirty because I'm black now. Come on now. You got to do. Wait, nobody wants to deal with that.
Right.
Why would you want to walk on eggshells as an investor?
I don't think anybody does.
Mm-mm.
I don't think anybody does. I think it can hurt more by creating those eggshells than it actually helps in the long term.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then people are afraid to hire you on the front end.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah.
Same thing for women. Same thing for, Man, this is so good. John, I've got a really tough question for you.
Tough question.
I do. So we were walking earlier today, and we were discussing your greatest dream, the thing that you've put more time and money into than anything else in your life, the God vision that you've been given, which is the dark dollar, which you've had the opportunity to, quote unquote, sell out. You've had offers, you've had big names want to come back you, but they would change it. When dealing with the ability to make money to where then you could make a difference and then you're in, or staying true to what the mission and vision for what you set out to produce, how do you stick to your values? A lot of people would have given in.
Oh, that's a powerful question.
Yeah, but you're doing it.
Yeah, I think there's really a one-word answer. Mm. Priority.
Ooh.
Not priorities, priority. Like literally, if you cut it all away, what's that thing that's important? Mm. Priority. And if you know what's important, then all of a sudden the other things have to fall in line with that, right? The puzzle piece has to have a main piece, right? There's a puzzle and there's a bunch of pieces, but all those pieces aren't created equal. Oh, no, the myth of equality. No, all the puzzles aren't equal. There's a main part that's got to be right, and then everything else can fall into line. But if that first piece isn't right, then the rest of the puzzle has no chance. Mm-hmm. Has no chance. So I knew that I couldn't, even though it's very tempting, I knew that I couldn't get started and have that first piece off.
That's insane. That's so good. So good. I've had a couple people ask me that on like projects or this, just throw up boxes and they'll sell. It's Nashville. It's a good market. Why do you care so much about this development? Why do you care what it can do for the people who buy? Why do you care what it does to the greater community? And I think it's important to remember, for me, you're born with nothing, you're going to die with nothing. Or you can't take anything with you, even if you do die with a bunch. So what really matters more than orchestrating as much good as you possibly can in your lifetime? And if you were given a powerful vision with very strategic and strict guidelines, you're going to have to stick to that. And I'm so proud to know you. How do you stay strong and true to what you know is right and what you believe is right, even when it's not popular?
Man, good question. These are great questions because I picked my pain. So in life, there is suffering. There is pain. So pick the pain. Do you want the pain of being liked for something that you don't stand for and saying the wrong thing, or being fake, being phony? Or would you rather say what you know in your heart to be right, the things that you truly believe in, no matter what comes with that? And this is the one I choose. I choose the message. I choose an empowering message. I choose self-responsibility. I choose to spend my time convincing people that they are not less than, that they are fully capable. I want them to take ownership of their responsibilities so they can live the life that they want to live. I want them to be a master of their own life. The M stands for mindset. Your mindset has to be stronger than your misfortunes. You have to take actions that make your intentions clear. You have to make sure that your strategy is better than your setbacks. You got to make sure you respect your time as much as you respect your money. You have to make sure that your environment supports your goals. And finally, you have to make sure that your resources pale in comparison to your resourcefulness, which is what you do with what you have. You do that, you're unstoppable.
Well, I'm excited to be on this journey with you, watch you continue to bridge what people think is impossible to bridge through love, not through hate and anger. And I'm excited to continue to just help any way that I can. You're amazing.
Awesome. You're amazing.